Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to have it all together, why they're always moving forward, always improving, and always reaching new heights, there's a reason for it. It's not luck. It's not coincidence. It's the result of a simple yet powerful habit that they've incorporated into their daily lives. And today I want to share that exact habit with you. The one thing that can instantly shift the trajectory of your life. Now you're probably thinking, what's the secret? What's the magic pill? But here's the truth. There's no magic pill, no shortcuts. The real change happens when you commit to this one simple habit. It's a habit that successful people live by, and it's one that's been proven to work time and time again. If you're tired of waiting for things to happen or hoping for a breakthrough, it's time to take control. You don't need more motivation. You don't need to wait for the right time. What you need is the commitment to a habit that, when done consistently, will change everything. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how this habit works and why it has the power to reshape your mindset, your confidence, and your life. Get ready to make that shift, because today could be the day everything changes for you. Stay with me and let's dive into the habit that will unlock the future you've been waiting for. Number 1, set a deadline for everything. Stop letting tasks drag on. There comes a time in life when you realize that time waits for no one. And if you keep putting things off, they never get done. That dream you have, that goal you want to reach, that skill you want to learn, it all stays in your head, waiting for a moment that never comes. You tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow turns into next week, then next month, then next year. And before you know it, nothing has changed. That's why if there's one habit that can change your life instantly, it's this: set a deadline for everything. Because the moment you give something a real deadline, one that is clear, non-negotiable, and fixed, you force yourself to take action. You stop leaving things to chance. You stop drifting. You take control. And once you build this habit, you'll never go back to the old way of living. Think about it. How many things have you been putting off simply because there's no deadline attached? That book you wanted to read, that business idea that's been sitting in your mind for years, that fitness goal you keep saying you'll start one day. One day is the most dangerous phrase in the world, because one day never comes unless you make it happen. Here's the truth. Human beings don't act without pressure. If there's no deadline, there's no urgency. And if there's no urgency, the mind finds ways to procrastinate. But when you set a clear deadline, something changes inside you. You start thinking differently. You start working differently, and you stop allowing yourself to waste time. Remember when you were in school and the teacher gave you 2 weeks to complete an assignment? When did you actually do it? The night before. Why? Because the deadline forced you to focus. The deadline took away the option to delay. The deadline made it clear: get it done or face the consequences. Now imagine if you used that same principle for everything in life. Imagine if you gave yourself strict deadlines for your personal growth, for your career, for your health, for your success. How much more could you accomplish? The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't intelligence. It isn't talent. It isn't luck. It's discipline. And discipline starts with deadlines. The most successful people in the world don't just hope to succeed. They set deadlines, and they stick to them. They don't leave things open-ended. They don't say, I'll start when I feel ready. They say, I will get this done by this date, no matter what. And they hold themselves accountable. Now let's get real. Some people say, I work better without deadlines. No, you don't. You've just never trained yourself to use them properly. If you let tasks drag on, it's because you allow them to. The longer you delay something, the harder it becomes to start. The moment you put a deadline on it, you take back control. Let's say you've been wanting to start exercising. You've been saying it for months, maybe even years. But what if you made a decision right now that you will work out at 7 a.m. tomorrow, no matter what? And not just tomorrow, but every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Suddenly it's real. Suddenly you're not waiting for motivation. You're following a plan. And that plan has a deadline. Maybe you've been thinking about starting a side business, but thinking isn't doing. What if you gave yourself 30 days to launch your first product or service? No excuses, no delays, just 30 days to make it happen. The moment you do this, your mind shifts from hesitation to action. You start finding ways to make it happen. instead of finding reasons why you can't. Success is about momentum, and the fastest way to build momentum is to set clear, strict deadlines for everything you do. It's not about being hard on yourself. It's about respecting your time. It's about understanding that every day that passes without progress is a day you don't get back. Some people wait for the perfect time to start, but there is no perfect time. There is only now. The people who make things happen in life aren't the ones waiting for inspiration. They're the ones who set deadlines, take action, and figure things out along the way. They don't have all the answers before they start, but they start anyway. And because they start, they learn, they grow, and they succeed. So today, I challenge you. Pick one thing you've been delaying, just one, and set a real solid deadline for it. Not a vague someday deadline, a real fixed can't miss it deadline. Write it down, say it out loud, commit to it, and then stick to it. No excuses, no backing out. Because the moment you do this, you'll feel a shift. You'll feel a sense of urgency, and that urgency will push you to take action. And once you start living like this, once you start setting deadlines for everything, you'll notice something incredible. You'll start achieving more. You'll start feeling more in control. And most importantly, you'll stop wasting time on things that don't matter. Because at the end of the day, life is short, and the only way to truly live it is to stop waiting and start doing. And the first step to doing, set a deadline and make it happen. Number 2, stop complaining for 24 hours. See how much your life changes. Most people wake up every day and don't even realize how much of their time, their energy, and their thoughts are consumed by complaints. They don't notice how often they talk about what's wrong, what's unfair, what's not going their way. They complain about the weather, their job, their boss, their family, their past, their future, their finances, and even things they have no control over. And the worst part? They don't even see it as complaining. They think they're just expressing how they feel. But let's get something straight. Complaining is a habit, and like every habit, it controls you more than you control it. Now here's the challenge. Try going just 24 hours without complaining about anything. Just one full day. No complaints about the traffic. No complaints about the weather. No complaints about your workload. No complaints about how tired you are. Just one day of cutting out negativity from your words and your thoughts. If you can do this, I promise you, your life will feel different. Not in a week, not in a month, but immediately. Because here's what happens when you stop complaining. You start seeing life in a way that most people never do. You start realizing how much time you've wasted focusing on what you don't like, instead of finding solutions. You stop feeling powerless, and you start taking control. You begin to notice how much your own words shape your reality, because they do. The way you speak, the things you say, those things control your mood, your mindset, your energy. The truth is, complaining does absolutely nothing for you. It doesn't fix problems. It doesn't change circumstances. It doesn't make anything better. All it does is make you feel stuck. It keeps your mind focused on what's wrong, instead of what you can do to make it right. But the moment you take on this challenge, just 24 hours of refusing to complain, you take your power back. Now let's be honest. The first few hours might feel strange, because when you've been in the habit of complaining for years, you don't even realize how often you do it. You might catch yourself about to say something negative, but then you stop. And that's when the shift happens. That's when you start thinking differently. Instead of saying, I hate how long this line is, you'll say, this is a great chance to be patient. Instead of saying, I can't stand my job, you'll start thinking, what can I do to change this situation? You see, people who succeed in life aren't the ones who never face problems. They're the ones who refuse to let problems define them. They're the ones who focus on what they can do, instead of what they can't. They're the ones who train their minds to always look for solutions. And that starts with breaking the habit of complaining. If you're someone who constantly talks about what's wrong, let me ask you this. What has it done for you? Has it solved anything? Has it made you feel happier? Has it moved you closer to your goals? Or has it just kept you stuck in the same cycle of frustration over and over again? Every single day you have a choice. You can focus on what's missing, or you can focus on what's possible. You can waste your time talking about problems, or you can spend your time working on solutions. And when you commit to 24 hours without complaining, you give yourself the gift of clarity. You start seeing how much of your thinking has been wasted on things that don't serve you. Now, some people will hear this and say, but what if something genuinely goes wrong? Am I just supposed to ignore it? No, that's not the point. The point isn't to pretend problems don't exist. The point is to stop talking about them endlessly and start doing something about them. Instead of saying, I'm broke, start asking, how can I earn more? Instead of saying, I hate my job, start thinking, what's my next step to get out of here? Instead of saying, I never have time, start asking, where am I wasting time and how can I fix it? Do you see the difference? One mindset keeps you stuck. The other moves you forward. And here's something else that will surprise you. When you stop complaining, people around you will notice. They'll feel your energy shift. They'll see that you're not like everyone else. And guess what? They'll start treating you differently. They'll respect you more. They'll be drawn to you because people don't like being around complainers. People like being around those who take responsibility, who bring solutions, who have a strong positive presence. Try it. Just 24 hours. The moment you wake up tomorrow, make a decision. No complaining today. No negative words. No talking about what's unfair. Just for one day. And at the end of those 24 hours, see how you feel. See how much lighter your mind is. See how much more energy you have. See how much more in control you feel. Because the truth is, when you remove complaining from your life, you remove a weight you didn't even realize you were carrying. And once you see how much better life feels without it, you'll never want to go back. Number 3, follow through on small commitments. Build mental strength. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. If you keep breaking promises to yourself, if you constantly say you'll do something and then never follow through, what does that tell your mind? It tells your mind that your words don't mean anything. It tells your mind that your commitments are flexible. It tells your mind that quitting is acceptable. And once your mind accepts that, it becomes your default way of living. You start setting goals and never reaching them. You start making plans and never following through. You start expecting failure before you even try. But let's flip that. What happens when you start following through on even the smallest commitments? What happens when you tell yourself you're going to do something and you actually do it? Your mind begins to trust you. You begin to trust you. You build discipline. You build confidence. You build the kind of mental strength that most people never develop because they're too busy making excuses. See, the problem isn't that people set big goals. The problem is that they never master the small ones first. They tell themselves they're going to wake up early, but they hit snooze. They say they'll work out, but they skip the gym. They promise to eat healthy, but they reach for junk food. And every time they do that, they train their mind to accept failure as normal. But here's the truth. If you can't keep a small commitment, how will you ever keep a big one? You don't build mental strength by doing something once. You build it by proving to yourself over and over that you follow through, that you mean what you say, that when you decide to do something, you do it, no matter how small, no matter how insignificant it seems. Because if you can't trust yourself with the small things, how can you expect yourself to handle the big ones? Start small. Pick one thing. Just one. Maybe it's drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning. Maybe it's making your bed. Maybe it's reading 10 pages of a book every day. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that you commit and you follow through. No matter how you feel. No matter how tired you are. No matter how small it seems. You do it because you said you would. And when you do that, something shifts in your mind. You start realizing that your words have power, that your actions define you, that you are in control. Most people are waiting for motivation to kick in before they start taking action. But that's not how it works. Motivation comes and goes. It's unreliable. It's a feeling. But discipline is a choice. And every time you follow through on a small commitment, you strengthen that choice. You train yourself to take action, even when you don't feel like it. And that's the real difference between those who succeed and those who don't. When you build the habit of following through, you start moving differently. People notice it. They see it in how you carry yourself. You're no longer the person who talks big but does nothing. You're the person who gets things done. And people respect that. They trust you because they see that you trust yourself. And let me tell you, when you trust yourself, there's no limit to what you can do. The mistake most people make is that they think they need to change everything overnight. They think they need to go from undisciplined to unstoppable in a single day. But that's not how real change happens. Real change happens in the small moments, in the tiny decisions, in the little commitments that most people ignore. The people who succeed aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They're just the ones who show up every single day and do what they said they would do. If you struggle with following through, start now, not tomorrow, not next week. Right now, pick something small and commit to it. Do it for a day, then 2, then a week, and don't stop. Because the second you prove to yourself that you can follow through, you become unstoppable. And when you become unstoppable, nothing can stand in your way. Number 4, challenge yourself every day. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. The life you want, the success you dream about, the person you hope to become, it all exists outside your comfort zone. And that's the problem. Most people live their entire lives inside a little box they built for themselves. A box of routines, a box of predictable actions, a box of familiar thoughts and habits. And that box feels safe. It feels comfortable. But here's the truth. That box is the very thing holding them back. See, the human mind is wired to seek comfort. It's natural. It's the reason people stay in jobs they hate. It's the reason they settle for less than they deserve. It's the reason they avoid change, even when they know deep down that change is what they need. But if you want to grow, if you want to achieve more, if you want to become the best version of yourself, you have to break free from that mindset. You have to challenge yourself every single day. Think about the most successful people in the world, the ones who are truly living life on their terms. Do you think they got there by playing it safe, by sticking to what was easy, by doing only the things that felt comfortable? No, they got there because they pushed themselves. They got there because they were willing to be uncomfortable. They got there because they embraced the challenge, even when it scared them. Discomfort is the price of growth. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. If you're not pushing yourself beyond what's easy, you're staying exactly where you are. And if you stay exactly where you are, guess what? A year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you'll still be the same. No progress, no evolution, just the same person with the same struggles, the same frustrations, the same regrets. The good news is you can change that. Right now, you don't have to make a huge leap overnight. You don't have to transform your life in a single day. But what you do have to do is start challenging yourself every single day, even in small ways. Because every time you step outside your comfort zone, even just a little, you expand it. And when you expand it, you grow. Maybe that means waking up an hour earlier instead of sleeping in. Maybe it means finally having that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it means trying something new, even if you're afraid you'll fail. Maybe it means putting yourself out there, even when it feels uncomfortable. The challenge itself doesn't matter. What matters is that you're willing to do it. What matters is that you're willing to push past your excuses. What matters is that you're willing to face discomfort instead of running from it. And here's something most people don't realize. The more you challenge yourself, the more you begin to crave the challenge. It becomes addictive. You start to enjoy the discomfort because you know what it means. You know that every time you push yourself, you're becoming stronger. You're becoming sharper. You're becoming the type of person who doesn't back down when things get hard. Most people avoid pain at all costs. They avoid struggle. They avoid the difficult path. But the people who win in life, they embrace it. They understand that struggle is what builds them. That difficulty is what shapes them. That discomfort is what forges them into someone unstoppable. So the question is, are you willing to be uncomfortable? Are you willing to push yourself beyond what's easy? Are you willing to challenge yourself every day, even when you don't feel like it? Because if you are, everything changes. Your confidence grows. Your mindset shifts. Your results improve. And suddenly, the things that once felt impossible start to feel within reach. It won't be easy. It won't always be fun, but it will be worth it. Because when you learn to get comfortable, being uncomfortable, there's nothing in this world that can stop you. Number 5, make quick decisions, but stick with them. Stop second-guessing yourself. Success in life doesn't come to those who hesitate. It doesn't come to those who spend all their time overthinking, overanalyzing, and waiting for the perfect moment. The people who win in life are the ones who make decisions and stick with them. They don't waste time doubting themselves, and they don't spend their days wondering what could go wrong. They decide, they commit, and they move forward. That's what separates those who achieve from those who stay stuck. Indecision is a silent killer. It doesn't show up overnight. It creeps in slowly. You hesitate once, then twice, then suddenly it becomes a habit. You start questioning everything. You second-guess your choices. You wait for the right time, but the right time never comes. And before you know it, opportunities slip through your fingers. Life moves on without you, and you're left wondering why you're still in the same place, while others are out there making things happen. Every time you hesitate, every time you delay, every time you overthink, you're training yourself to stay stuck. Your mind gets comfortable with indecision. It starts looking for reasons not to act. It finds excuses. It creates doubt. And the longer you stay in that cycle, the harder it becomes to break free. But the good news is, you can change that. You can train yourself to decide quickly, to trust yourself, and to move forward with confidence. Making quick decisions doesn't mean being reckless. It doesn't mean acting without thinking. It means trusting your instincts. It means gathering the necessary information, making a choice, and then fully committing to it. Because here's the truth, no decision is perfect. No choice comes with a guarantee. But the worst thing you can do is make a decision and then spend all your time second-guessing it. That's what holds people back. They make a choice, but then they doubt it. They keep looking back. They keep asking, did I do the right thing? And that constant questioning steals their progress. The most successful people in the world aren't necessarily the ones who always make the best choices. They're the ones who make a choice and make it work. They don't waste time looking back. They don't torture themselves with what-ifs. They decide, they commit, and they adapt along the way. That's the mindset you need. Instead of wasting energy on doubts, use that energy to make your decision successful. If it turns out to be the wrong choice, adjust, learn, but don't stand still. People think they need more time to decide, but in reality, they just need more confidence in themselves. Confidence doesn't come from being right all the time. It comes from making decisions and learning that you can handle whatever comes next. When you hesitate too much, when you let fear control you, you send yourself a dangerous message. I don't trust myself. And when you don't trust yourself, you lose power. You become dependent on others for validation. You become a prisoner of your own doubts. But when you make decisions quickly and stand by them, you tell yourself, I've got this. And that changes everything. Think about how much time and energy is wasted by second-guessing. How many days, weeks, even years do people lose because they're stuck in a loop of hesitation? They want to start that business, but they keep questioning if it's the right time. They want to take that opportunity, but they're afraid of making a mistake. They want to take action, but they keep waiting for certainty. Meanwhile, someone else out there, someone with less skill, less knowledge, less experience, is making decisions and making progress. Not because they're smarter, but because they trust themselves enough to act. You will never have all the answers before making a decision. You will never have a 100% guarantee that things will go exactly as planned. But you don't need that. What you need is the courage to decide, the discipline to follow through, and the resilience to adjust when necessary. That's what creates winners. That's what separates those who build great lives from those who just dream about them. If you've been struggling with indecision, if you've been letting hesitation hold you back, it's time to break the cycle. Start making choices with confidence. Trust yourself. Commit fully. Stop looking back. Because the sooner you train yourself to decide quickly and stick with it, the sooner you start moving toward the life you really want. Number 6, limit time. With negative people, protect your energy. Your energy is your most valuable resource. It shapes the way you think, the way you feel, and ultimately, the results you get in life. But here's the problem. Most people don't guard their energy. They don't protect it like it matters. And because of that, they let negative people drain them, distract them, and pull them away from their true potential. Every single day, you are absorbing energy from the people around you. Their words, their attitudes, their mindset, it all influences you whether you realize it or not. If you spend too much time around negative people, you will start thinking like them, feeling like them, and eventually becoming like them. And the worst part, it doesn't happen overnight. It happens so slowly that you don't even see it coming. You ever notice how some people always have something to complain about? No matter what's going on, they find a way to see the worst in every situation. They focus on what's wrong, not what's right. They talk about problems, not solutions. They blame others, make excuses, and worst of all, they try to drag you into their misery. And if you're not careful, you'll start picking up their habits. You'll start seeing the world through their negative lens. You'll start questioning your own goals, your own dreams, your own potential. That's why you have to be intentional about who you give your time and energy to. You cannot afford to spend too much time around people who drain you. You cannot afford to let their negativity seep into your mind. Because the truth is, no matter how strong you are, no matter how motivated you are, if you expose yourself to the wrong people for too long, they will weaken you. There are people in your life right now who are not adding any value to you. They're not inspiring you. They're not encouraging you. They're not pushing you to be better. Instead, they're distracting you. They're filling your mind with doubts. They're making you question whether your goals are even worth it. And if you keep giving them access to your time, they will slow you down. Some people might say, well, I can't just cut people off. What if they're my friends? What if they're family? And listen, I'm not saying you have to be rude or completely shut people out, but you do have to control how much access they have to you. You do have to set boundaries, because if you don't, you're the one who will suffer. Think about this. If someone gave you a glass of poisoned water, would you drink it just because you didn't want to hurt their feelings? Of course not. You'd say no thanks. But when it comes to negative energy, people allow themselves to drink it every day. They sit there and absorb negativity just because they don't want to seem rude. They let people drain their spirit just because they don't want to upset anyone. But what about you? What about your mental health? What about your peace of mind? What about your goals, your dreams, your future? Your success depends on your environment. If you surround yourself with winners, you'll start thinking like a winner. If you surround yourself with people who push you, challenge you, and believe in you, you will rise to a higher level. But if you keep spending your time around people who complain, who doubt, who make excuses, you will start becoming just like them. And that is a price too high to pay. You have to make a decision today to protect your energy at all costs. That means being selective about who you spend time with. That means recognizing who is adding to your life and who is taking away from it. That means choosing growth over comfort. Because yes, it might be uncomfortable to distance yourself from certain people. It might be hard to limit time with those who have been in your life for years. But the real question is, what's harder? Saying no to negativity or living the rest of your life weighed down by it? Your future is too important to let negative people hold you back. You have goals to achieve. You have dreams to bring to life. You have a purpose to fulfill. And you cannot afford to waste your energy on anything or anyone that is not helping you move forward. Limit your time with negative people, protect your energy, and watch how your life starts to change. Number 7, talk less, listen more. Gain more knowledge and respect. Most people talk too much. They talk about what they know, what they think, what they feel. They talk to impress others, to prove a point, to make sure they're heard. But here's the truth. If you're always talking, you're not learning. If you're always trying to be the loudest voice in the room, you're missing the most valuable insights that could change your life. The people who truly grow, the people who gain wisdom, the people who earn the most respect are not the ones who speak the most. They're the ones who know when to be quiet. They're the ones who listen, who observe, who absorb knowledge like a sponge. They understand something most people don't. Every time you speak, you're repeating what you already know. But when you listen, you have the opportunity to learn something new. Think about the most successful people you know. Think about the leaders, the mentors, the people who seem to command respect effortlessly. They don't waste their words. They don't speak just to hear themselves talk. When they do say something, it matters. Why? Because they've taken the time to listen first. They've gathered knowledge. They've understood the situation. And when they finally speak, people listen because they know it's coming from wisdom, not just opinion. But the problem is, most people are in a rush to be heard. They interrupt. They dominate conversations. They focus on what they're going to say next, instead of actually paying attention. And in doing so, they miss out on the most valuable lessons life has to offer. If you want to grow, if you want to be respected, if you want to gain true wisdom, you have to learn to be quiet sometimes. You have to learn to sit back and take in what's happening around you. Listening is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. It takes patience. It takes self-awareness. Because let's be honest, our ego wants to speak. Our ego wants to prove we're right. It wants to jump in and make sure we don't look weak or uninformed. But the most powerful people are the ones who have mastered their ego. They don't feel the need to prove themselves with words. They let their understanding speak for itself. And here's where it gets even more interesting. When you listen more, people start respecting you more. When you don't rush to speak, when you take the time to truly hear what others are saying, they notice. They feel valued. They sense that you're different from the average person who just waits for their turn to talk. And that alone makes you stand out. That alone makes you someone people trust. The best communicators in the world aren't just great talkers, they're great listeners. They know how to make people feel heard. And when people feel heard, they open up, they share more, they trust you more. That's how you gain influence. That's how you gain knowledge. That's how you gain power. But here's the catch. You have to be intentional about it. You have to remind yourself daily to listen more than you speak. You have to catch yourself when you're about to interrupt. You have to resist the urge to jump in with your opinion before truly understanding what's being said. It's not always easy, but the reward is worth it. Because the more you listen, the more you learn. The more you listen, the more you grow. And the more you listen, the more respect you earn. So starting today, challenge yourself. Talk less, listen more, pay attention, absorb wisdom, and watch how your life starts to change. Number 8, look people in the eye. When you talk, show confidence and presence. Confidence isn't just about how you feel on the inside. It's about what you project to the world. You could be the smartest person in the room. You could have the best ideas, the greatest work ethic, the most valuable insights. But if people don't feel your presence, if they don't see confidence in you, they won't take you seriously. And one of the simplest ways to show confidence, eye contact. It's a small thing, but it changes everything. The way you look at someone when you speak tells them exactly who you are. It tells them if you're sure of yourself, if you believe in what you're saying, if you have the kind of presence that demands respect. People feel energy. They feel strength. And the moment you look them straight in the eye, without hesitation, without looking away, without second-guessing yourself, they know you mean business. Most people avoid eye contact without even realizing it. They glance away. They stare at the floor. They let their eyes dart around like they're searching for an exit. And they don't even understand the message that sends. Because when you avoid eye contact, you're telling the world, I'm not confident in what I'm saying. You're telling them, I'm unsure. I don't fully believe in myself. And guess what? If you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else? Think about the people who command attention when they speak. Think about the leaders, the high achievers, the ones who walk into a room and instantly shift the energy. They don't just have the right words, they have the right presence. And presence is built on how you carry yourself. It's built on standing tall, on keeping your head up, on speaking with certainty, and above all, it's built on looking people in the eye. When you look someone in the eye, you create an instant connection. You show them you're fully present, that you're engaged, that you respect them enough to give them your full attention. And in return, they respect you. They listen. They feel the weight of your words. But the moment you break eye contact too soon, the moment you let your gaze drop, that connection weakens. It's a signal, even if it's subtle. It's a signal that tells them maybe you're not as sure of yourself as you seem. Now, this doesn't mean you have to stare people down like you're trying to intimidate them. That's not confidence. That's aggression. Confidence is natural. It's steady. It's comfortable. It's looking someone in the eye when you introduce yourself, when you explain your ideas, when you state what you believe in. It's holding that eye contact just long enough to let them know you're solid. You're not hiding. You're not doubting. You're here, and you're certain. And here's something incredible. When you start making strong eye contact a habit, you'll notice something. Not only do people react to you differently, but you start to feel different. The way you carry yourself shifts. You start to believe in yourself more because your body is sending the right signals, and your mind follows. That's the power of body language. The way you present yourself externally shapes how you feel internally. So starting today, be aware of it. The next time you shake someone's hand, look them in the eye and hold it just a second longer than usual. The next time you speak, make sure you're not looking away too soon. Catch yourself if you start to avoid eye contact out of habit, and watch what happens. People will take you more seriously. They'll feel your confidence before you even say a word. And more importantly, you will feel that confidence growing inside you. Because confidence isn't just something you're born with. It's something you build. And one of the simplest, most powerful ways to start, look people in the eye. Number 9, start saying I will instead of I hope. Develop a mindset of certainty. Most people go through life with hesitation. They say things like, I hope it works out. I hope I get lucky. I hope one day I can be successful. Hope sounds nice, but it's weak. It's uncertain. It's passive. It's waiting for something to happen instead of making it happen. And that's why so many people stay stuck, because they never make the shift from I hope to I will. You see, there's a massive difference between those two phrases. I hope means you're leaving it up to chance. I will means you're taking control. I hope is like standing outside in the rain, praying for the storm to pass. I will is grabbing an umbrella and walking straight through it. One is powerless, the other is powerful. And the people who succeed in life, the ones who turn dreams into reality, they don't operate on hope, they operate on certainty. Certainty doesn't mean you know exactly how things will unfold. It doesn't mean you have all the answers or a perfect roadmap. What it means is that no matter what happens, no matter what obstacles come your way, you're going to figure it out. It means your success is not up for debate. You're not hoping for it. You're deciding on it. And once you make that decision, everything changes. Because your mind works in alignment with what you tell it. If you keep saying I hope, your brain stays in limbo. It doesn't know whether you're serious or not. It doesn't commit. But the moment you say, I will, your brain shifts gears. It starts looking for solutions. It starts eliminating distractions. It starts rewiring itself to make sure you follow through. That's the power of certainty. That's the power of committing with absolute conviction. Look at the people who dominate in their fields. The athletes, the business leaders, the top performers. Do you think they're walking around saying, I hope I win? No, they walk in saying, I will find a way to win. Even when they don't feel ready, even when the odds are against them, even when things look impossible. They don't leave room for doubt. They don't wait for permission. They step up, they commit, and they figure it out as they go. And that's what separates winners from everyone else. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's the mindset. The mindset that says, I don't care how hard it gets. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how many times I fail. I will make this happen. That level of certainty, it's magnetic, it's unstoppable. It's what forces the world to move out of your way. So let me ask you something. What are you hoping for right now? What's that thing you keep telling yourself you'll do one day? Is it starting that business? Is it getting in shape? Is it finally committing to your goals instead of just thinking about them? Whatever it is, drop the I hope, drop the hesitation, drop the waiting. Right now tell yourself, I will. Say it with conviction. Feel it in your bones, and then back it up with action. Because that's what this is really about. It's not just about saying the words. It's about making sure your actions match them. Talk is cheap. You can say I will all day long. But if you don't follow through, it means nothing. When you say I will be successful, you need to act like it. When you say I will get in shape, you need to move like it. When you say I will make this happen, you need to work like it. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable at first, because shifting from hope to certainty means taking full responsibility. It means there's no more blaming luck, no more waiting for the perfect moment, no more excuses. But here's the truth. When you start living with that level of commitment, the world starts responding to you differently. Doors start opening, opportunities start appearing, not because of luck, but because you created them. So starting today, stop hoping, stop wishing, stop waiting, make a decision, say, I will and mean it, and then go make it real. Number 10, end the day with reflection. Most people go to bed the same way they go through life, on autopilot. They rush through the day, exhausted, distracted, overwhelmed, and then they crash into bed without a second thought. No reflection, no review, no adjustment, and then they wonder why nothing ever changes. They wonder why they're stuck in the same cycle, repeating the same mistakes, feeling the same frustrations. They don't realize that the key to changing their life isn't found in some big, dramatic breakthrough. It's found in the quiet moments. It's found in the discipline of looking back and learning. Because every single day is a lesson. Every interaction, every decision, every success, and every failure, it all carries valuable information. But if you never take the time to sit with it, to study it, to extract the wisdom from it, then you're wasting it. You're throwing away the raw material that could shape you into something better, something stronger, something wiser. And that's why reflection is so powerful. It's how you turn experience into growth. It's how you stop making the same mistakes over and over again. It's how you develop the awareness to recognize where you're improving and where you still need work. The most successful people don't just live their days, they examine them. They take a step back at the end of the day and ask themselves, what went well today? What didn't? What can I do better tomorrow? And that's not just a habit, it's a way of thinking. It's a mindset that refuses to let a single day go by without squeezing every drop of value from it. Because if you're not reflecting, you're not improving. If you're not improving, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're falling behind. But here's the problem. Most people avoid reflection because it's uncomfortable. It forces you to be honest with yourself. It forces you to see where you fell short, where you got lazy, where you let fear or doubt win. And that's hard. It's much easier to distract yourself with social media, with TV, with mindless entertainment, anything to avoid sitting alone with your own thoughts. But that's exactly why so many people stay stuck, because they don't take ownership. They don't face themselves. They don't learn from their own life. And let's be clear, reflection isn't about beating yourself up. It's not about drowning in guilt or regret. It's about looking at yourself with clarity, with honesty, and with a commitment to being better. It's about asking, what did I do today that moved me closer to my goals? What held me back? Where did I let fear dictate my decisions? Where did I show strength and discipline? What can I change tomorrow to make it better? That's how you develop self-awareness. That's how you build discipline. That's how you make progress that actually lasts. Because the truth is, no one is perfect. You will mess up. You will have days where you don't give it your all. You will make mistakes. But the difference between winners and everyone else is that winners don't let those mistakes repeat themselves. They don't live blindly. They don't just go through life reacting to everything. They step back, they reflect, they learn, and they adjust. And when you make that a habit, when you make it part of your daily routine, you start to see real change. It's not about having a perfect reflection process. You don't need to write a 10-page journal entry every night. You don't need to sit in deep meditation for hours. You just need to take a few moments before you sleep and check in with yourself. Even if it's just 5 minutes of asking yourself the right questions, that alone can change the trajectory of your life. Because when you reflect, you gain clarity, and clarity leads to better decisions, and better decisions lead to better results. So starting tonight, before you close your eyes, take a moment, sit in silence, replay your day, look at it honestly, learn from it, and then make the decision to wake up tomorrow and be better. Because every day is a lesson. The question is, are you willing to learn from it? Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, practiced every day. And there it is, one simple habit that can change your life instantly. It's about taking control of your time and your future by setting deadlines for everything. It's about no longer allowing tasks to drag on and take up your mental space. You're going to find that once you get into this habit, your life changes in ways you didn't even expect. You're going to notice you're more focused, more disciplined, and ultimately, more successful. The power to make that change is in your hands. Right now, stop letting procrastination and uncertainty control you. Start setting deadlines today, and watch how quickly your life transforms. This one habit may seem simple, but don't underestimate it. It has the potential to unlock your true power and drive you toward the success you've always dreamed of. Take that first step today. Set your deadlines and hold yourself accountable. Your future starts now.